Hey guys, new video. This will be it's July now, actually, a week before 4th of July and everything. I want to do something somewhat patriotic and everything. So I've taken June off to take care of my Etsy and everything, come up with new ideas and everything. So I'm using May to come up with July stuff. But this video, we're going to be doing these guys. There you go, guys. We're going to be painting these guys. This is the flag raising on Iwo Jima and everything. I 3D printed these on my Ender 5 over here. I found, this is one of my first prints ever. I just printed it and put it off to the side. I recently just primed it along with other stuff that I printed because back when I first got into 3D printing, I was just printing like crazy and not painting or doing anything else. Just printing just to learn how to print and everything, learn different how to print and everything, because each print is different. How many times can I say print in a minute? I don't know, but I printed these and I recently primed them along with a bunch of other stuff that I printed years ago. I'm getting into painting them, but we're going to be painting these guys up like Marines and everything, depicting the flag raising on Iwo Jima and everything. So that's what we're doing. Let's get to the build. Alright guys, so for this build we have several different types of colors. So of course I've got OD green, and I've got a lighter lime green I'm thinking of for belts and everything. And then we got a couple browns, and of course we have it black. And then I'm going to be using my Vallejo flesh tones. So small disclaimer, I guess. I'll just small note. Olive drab during World War I, World War II, and all that. Even though something says it's olive drab, doesn't necessarily mean it's olive drab. Let me show you an idea. So this here is my M1 helmet. This is considered olive drab, of course. So there's that. But then I have this. Hang on, let me get loose. Then I've got. I'm trying to get both of them in. So then you got this gun belt. That's also considered olive drab. Everything. So this is considered olive drab. That's considered olive drab. And yet they are. You can see clearly that there is a difference. That is why I've got this lime green. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. That's why I've got the lime green and the olive drab. The olive drab is for like their actual clothes, and the lime green I'm gonna probably use for their belts. And oh, guys, everything fell, so I had to fix everything. But just one disclaimer that olive drab, not all olive drabs are the same. Because like even during the war, if you went to, so a lot of the American armor or Allied armor in general, when it came out of the production line, was considered olive drab. But if you look at, say, the olive drab from Chrysler and Ford, there's a little bit of difference. And also, if you look at British olive drab compared to American olive drab, there's a difference. And like everybody's saying they're using olive drab and everything, which they're getting close, but there's small differences. So like, just because someone says something's olive drab doesn't necessarily mean it's olive drab. There's different olive drabs out there, is what I'm trying to get at. There was so much olive drab being used that near the end of the war, we actually stopped painting certain items, such as the B-29. The B-29 is all aluminum except for around the engine cowlings, because that's painted green to keep to stop the glare from blinding the co-pilot and the pilot and everything. But the rest of it was just silver and everything. So the point is, olive drab was used everywhere, and at the end of the war, we had air superiority, and we were actually running out of color, from what I understand, and what I've been told. We've been running out of olive drab, so we stopped using it in certain places. But another thing is, olive drab is not necessarily olive drab. Okay, so let's get into painting this and everything. First things first, we're gonna paint the olive drab, of course. We got all these paints open. Okay, so go ahead and get those out of the way and everything. Let's get this olive drab on these guys. Yeah, these are army men that I 3D printed on my Ender 5. So they're like 1/32 scale. I'll put a link in the description for you guys so you can go find them. Alright, I'm gonna do a base coat khaki on their helmets because Marines during this campaign had like a tri-coat scheme. Oh, it was khaki. It's nice. FYI, khaki is not, like I said, just like olive drab. There's so many khakis out there. I did a British 17-pounder kit, and the men that came with it said it was khaki. This is the khaki that I have. It's almost like a white, almost to me. Whitish, with a little bit of brown to it. And in these pictures that of these British soldiers that they're saying are khaki, it looks like olive drab. So to the, like I said earlier about olive drab and everything, stuff that looks like olive drab to them is khaki to us, or something like that. That's just the first coat for their helmets, guys. This little khaki color. Now let's paint their boots brown. Marines actually didn't necessarily have combat boots like the Army did and everything. If you look at, just go watch the Pacific. Actually, there's a good picture of the hiking boot that they had. They had hiking boots. They did not have necessarily combat boots. Yeah, I like to paint these army men for practice and everything. And sometimes I use them in my dioramas that I do, because they're cheaper than going and buying like the Tamiya kits and everything and having to paint those figures. Hopefully, I've said before, I use these and everything. You can go to dollar store, pick up a bag of these, and just if you're getting into the hobby and you want to practice, get started practicing and everything, it's very cheap just to go to the dollar store and buy a pack of army men and practice painting on them. compared to going and buying like 6 figures for $24 off of Amazon, which has happened to me. That is the beginning. I give you guys as much review as possible. Okay, that's what we got. I might use that khaki for their belts and everything. I don't know yet. I think it looks really good. Let's see now. From what I understand, Iwo Jima is a volcanic island and everything, so it's a lot of ash. So I'm actually gonna paint the ground, their stands, black real fast. So I'm back. While I let this dry, I went in and I tried the lime green on the belt. I didn't like it, but I do have this actual olive green back here that's more like what I want. So I'm going to use that olive green instead of this lime green that you have here. So yeah, that's what we're going with. We're going to go ahead and paint all of the belts and stuff lime green. Or, not lime green, olive green. None of these guys have their haversacks on, so they're not wearing. They don't have their suspenders on. It seems, at least in the actual picture, I can't see anything. Let's get some flesh tones in here. So I'm gonna try and do these guys as much justice as possible. Yeah, let's do these three. So they're all they're all Caucasian except for Mr. Ira Hayes, who is actually in the back here. There's actually a picture, which I'll show you guys, of Ira, Mr. Hayes, pointing to his position in the picture, and it's pointing to this gentleman here. So this, the man himself is saying that is me. So this I'm going to paint up as Ira. Ira is a Native American, so I'm giving him a darker flesh tone. Whereas all the other gentlemen are Caucasian, so I'm going to paint them white. very hard to get in here because actually when you 3D print him, it's just a mangled mess of plastic on top of each other and everything. So like all their hands here, right there are connected and everything. And then you got legs and everything that are somewhat connected. I don't know if you guys can see it. There between these two gentlemen, right there, that their bodies are joined and everything. But yeah, that's where we're at. Flesh tones are started. This is whole. Need that rust too, because I'm gonna be doing that. But let's see now. Let's go in. We're gonna touch up a little bit of their clothing. Just a little bit. Trying to get like the straight lines and uniforms and everything. This is extremely hard to see and extremely hard to film, guys. Here you go, guys. They're coming along, I think. They're coming along pretty good, I think. Okay. Let that dry again. Well, guys, here is where we're at so far. I went ahead and I added a little bit of brown to the helmets and everything, but they're coming along. Alright, so the next part, I'm just gonna hit it with a wash of rust to put some, gonna put some blood under that flesh. So we're just gonna hit with their skin with rust. A little bit of rust on them to make it look like there's some blood under that skin. And we'll go in, we'll touch them up after it dries for a bit. The rust looks like dirt and everything as well, so it's okay if you get some on you. All over him and everything. I'm gonna go in with a dark wash later. Yeah, they're coming along. They're coming along. Alright, so we'll let this dry. Okay, so good luck, Rossi. Here we go. We're gonna start painting their faces a little bit. Let's see if I can do this. Just hitting the high spots, really, guys. The noses, cheeks, jaw lines. I'll go in and paint their eyebrows, paint their hair, maybe give it a little bit of stubble. They're in combat, so yeah, there might be a little bit of stubble. Once we do that, we'll hit it all with a black wash. Not give Ira too much. He's a Native American, so he's not as pale as all the other guys. There you go. Okay. There's that. Let's do their eyebrows real fast. Eyebrows and hair and everything. This is gonna be kind of hard because it's... Alright guys, so there you go. I went in with the rust and did a little bit of a wash all over them so they got some dirt on them and everything. Yeah, there you go. We'll hit this with a black wash and see where we can go from there. Yeah. Alright there guys, so here we go with another ending. Yes, I just finished painting those and everything. They sat for a while I went out to dinner. It's actually Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. We appreciate you for everything you guys do for us and everything. So I just wanted to, I'm going to show you guys this real fast, so here we go. There you have it guys, right there. Iwo Jima Marines. This lighting is, the skin is a lot brighter, a lot pinker than it looks, I think, on camera, but it's actually not like that. It's a lot darker. I think it's just because of the lighting, but I also have this to put in with them. Yep. Let me see if I can. There you go, guys. I know the flag is way too big and out of scale for them, but it's what I got right now. It's 50 cents at home buys and everything. So there you have it, guys. Another build done. The Iwo Jima figures. Like I said in other videos, I like to use army men to practice my painting for figures for my dioramas and everything. I do a lot of military models and everything, so that's where I get my practice from. I go buy some cheap army men and make them up and everything. Very simple, very easy. I enjoy doing it. It brings some life to some toys and everything that you let kids play with and everything. So yeah, very cheap, very nice. Let me get you in closer with them. I still got clear coated and everything, but I think these came out really nice. So yeah, there you go. Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. Please go check out my Etsy and my eBay. Support me there and everything. Help me build my business and expand the channel and everything. I really appreciate you guys' support. Go check out the 2 artists who are always in my description. It's Alicia Miles. She's on Facebook Marketplace. And Mike Champagne. Mike is a very talented comic book artist and everything. He does a lot of pinup art for his stuff, but he also does comic book art. Alicia does a lot with cricket and everything, so she does a lot of cricket stuff. So you can find them in the description as always. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.